This is Orlando Sentinel Now.
Hello, it's Wednesday, September 8th. Rich Pope here with Caroline Catherman and Matt Palm. Our topics today we're going to touch on veterans in Orlando and how COVID is affecting them, and also an interesting art display that's going to happen here in the region. And chances are you'll probably see it even if you don't intend to. So we'll find out what that's about. All right, we're going to start here with Caroline, and we're going to talk about the Orlando VA health system. They have the most amount of COVID cases in the nation. What's going on, Caroline?
Yeah. So there are about over 150 VA healthcare systems throughout the US with that, over 1,000 healthcare centers. And in Orlando, we have the horrible distinction of having the most people who have tested positive who are members of this VA healthcare center. And that's the most people that have tested positive throughout the pandemic and the highest number right now of active cases. We have over 500 active cases. And, there's, I think, 2 other locations in Florida that come right after us. I think one of them is Gainesville. And it's due to a lot of factors. Number one, we do serve a very large population of veterans. Orange County has one of the highest populations of veterans of all U.S. counties. However, it's also due to our really intense state of COVID here. We have a really high rate of community transmission. Even though things are going down, Florida is still leading the nation in COVID cases, and the veteran population here as well. I think around 50% of them are over 65. So it's a really vulnerable population.
I do want to highlight on this one part because it gives you a little bit of a glimmer of hope that the numbers are starting to taper down a little bit. And we're actually seeing that across the board in Orange County and also in our VAs as well. Talk about the numbers right now.
Right. So the numbers at the VA have started to slightly decrease these last few days. The VA took longer to decrease than a lot of other local hospitals. Other hospitals throughout Central Florida started seeing a decrease maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago in hospital admissions. And again, the VA spokesperson attributes that to this vulnerable population. The VA population is a little bit different because so many of them are over 65 and a lot of them do have pre-existing conditions. But overall, yes, the numbers might spike a little bit again after Labor Day, though. Hospitals just aren't completely sure, especially with this Delta variant. It's really unpredictable. Generally, each wave does tend to last about 2 months, and we're, about at that 2-month mark for the 4th wave of COVID. And so there is hope it decreases, but we're going to have to wait and see if this decrease continues. And it's important to note, too, we're still at record highs. We're still at hospital numbers that were not seen until a month ago. So we are not out of the woods.
Yeah, let's talk about veterans again as well. As far as the number in hospitals, just because they're in the VA is reporting a certain number doesn't necessarily mean that's the total population of veterans that have been affected by COVID-19.
Right. That is just the veterans that have tested positive or been treated for COVID at a VA center. The number is likely far, far higher. I was reading a story the other day of a veteran who died of COVID at home. He wasn't being treated for COVID at a VA, so he, might not be counted. The VA also counts deaths. I think the Orlando VA is about 150. So yeah, the actual number is likely far higher. At the moment, there are 16 veterans at the hospital's intensive care unit. They have 24 beds total. The hospital spokesperson did not tell me how many veterans are in the mobile ICU that they got about a week ago to help reduce strain on the hospital system. And she did not give me the number of inpatients either. So, the actual number of veterans hospitalized is, higher than that. But you're right, not all of them who test positive for COVID are hospitalized, and those numbers don't reflect everyone.
All right, well, you can read that story right now on OrlandoSentinel.com. Good look at that. and a good look at just these groups that actually show, I think, what the region is, how it's being affected. It's almost a smaller snapshot. All right, well, appreciate that. We're going to move forward here to Matt Palm. And Matt Palm, as we know, things on I-4 can get pretty ugly, but things might be getting a little bit more interesting thanks to an art show coming to I-4. What's going on, Matt?
Yeah, well, of all the places in Central Florida, we need to add a little beauty, a little peace, a little calm to our souls on I-4 seems like a likely candidate. And you're right, Rich, we're going to have an art gallery that is going to be literally on I-4, stretching down miles and miles of the highway. It's a new project. It's designed to take some of the billboard clutter and make it attractive. And it's coming this January.
That's great. Tell us who's behind this art show and how people are getting involved in it.
Okay, well, it's a big partnership. The Downtown Arts District in Orlando is behind it. It's being curated by Patrick Green, who is a name well known in art circles in Central Florida. For years, he curated a gallery downtown called the Gallery at Avalon Island. That location is now where the Downtown Arts District runs its own city arts factory. So there's a lot of interconnection there in the art world. And then, of course, Clear Channel Outdoor is an important partner because they, of course, own billboards everywhere. And they thought this would be a great idea as well to just help give drivers a little lift on their journeys.
Yeah, that's really cool. And also, what I find really interesting about this is you might see something you like, say, on I-4, but you actually could go see the work in person as well.
Yes. Now, of course, a lot of people are already joking, well, this is going to cause accidents. People will be stopping to look at the art. No one's expecting you to stop and look at a billboard on I-4. Please do not. Now, of course, there may be plenty of times when you are stopped and then you'll have something nice to look at, but go with traffic. If you want to really savor the artworks, there will be a traditional art exhibit. It'll be downtown at the City Arts Factory building. And that's where you can see all the art. The artists, before their work gets turned into giant billboard size, will submit more traditionally sized pieces that will all be on exhibit in one place. Because honestly, Rich, it's going to be a big exhibit. You're probably not going to be able to see all of them. There'll be 30 different works of art stretching, all the way through multiple counties on I-4. Some they'll all have a traditional billboard, and then they'll be repeated on digital billboards where they rotate through on those digital billboards. So you're probably not going to catch them all. If you want to see them all, then the art gallery is your place.
Right. I think this is really neat. And it mentions this in your story that essentially individuals that typically wouldn't go to a gallery are going to be exposed to art, and maybe it could be the gateway in for them.
Right, and that was one of the objectives of the curator, Mr. Green. He really feels strongly about making art accessible to everyone. He's done a transportation project in the past using city buses, with people being inspired by our link system and creating art right there on the bus while you're traveling. He just wants to break down the barriers that might keep people from experiencing visual art. And, everyone drives, and most of us have to drive on I-4. So what better way to do that?
Yeah, I get a kick out of it too. Is it seems like we joke about, well, this is just going to slow traffic down even more. But the thing is, like, it's already slow. Might as well give us something to look at.
Right. We're already looking at the billboards. Now we're just going to have something different looking back at us.
Right. All right. Well, interesting one there. And you can read about that one right now. Matt does a great job of laying that one out. But we're going to go ahead and push pause for today. Appreciate you all being with us. And if you like what we do, go ahead and subscribe to Orlando Sentinel. Go to orlandosentinel.com/subscribe. We really do appreciate that. But we're going to call it quits for today. Appreciate you being with us. Until next time, I'm Rich, Caroline, and Matt. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you soon.
Watch Orlando Sentinel Now live every weekday at noon on our Facebook page and on orlandosentinel.com.